Well, it's been good to see so many people standing up and not just protesting, but participating in a peaceful act of civil resistance, and that is by occupying financial centers in an attempt to shut them down. It's all right if that hasn't been entirely successful. This is a modest attempt by a relatively small group of people here and there. However, this has taken place today in 1,400 cities in 71 countries around the world. That's pretty historic. And I'm so glad to see that happen here in this country. It was interesting to watch Obama acknowledging it, at least, and acknowledging that the people were clearly upset. And then listening to Stephen Harper, I can't remember his exact words, but he said something along the lines of, it doesn't really matter, or it's not the same thing here in Canada. So in other words, people don't have any reason to be upset. They're just reacting over nothing. And of course, the media figures, especially on the CBC News, have been parroting that all day long. But sure, okay, things may not be as bad as in the States, but we still have a recession, even though the government, of course, is still saying that the recession's been over for 2 years. And something like 2 years ago, weren't they saying that there wasn't even a recession to begin with? So how, I guess we had like a 2-week recession or something. But anyway, this is really about corporate greed, and that message eventually got through to eventually the reporters on CBC News would actually acknowledge that corporate greed is the main issue here. It took quite a while for them to get the idea, as if they weren't really talking to the people, and they weren't really interviewing on camera a lot of people until later on in the day they started really talking to some people. And so, yeah, eventually they seem to get the message. They're trying to say that this is all confused. They don't really know what's going on. And at first it was about, well, there's no violence yet. There's no, the police are here, but so far there's no violence. And it's very clear they're just looking for violence, something juicy that makes for good television. You know, a peaceful movement isn't the most exciting to the media. But as this is happening all over the place and it's huge online, they were forced to report this. And so it made it to the mainstream media, which is great. And of course, the word corruption was never used. That the fact this is really about government corruption, really not listening to the people when it needs to. That's what it's really about. And they managed to downplay that quite a bit. But like I say, eventually they did acknowledge that the main theme of this is really corporate greed. And it's pretty cool, I think, that there's no leaders in this, and it's not all that well organized. It's really just the people coming together. This is coming about organically, and that's great, and it's great that it's peaceful. When the sun goes down, though, of course, you might have some young kids, some anarchists and troublemakers, and of course the police in Canada are not above using provocateurs to smash windows and stuff. They've been caught and have admitted to this in the past, so that's a possibility as well. If I was involved in organizing a protest, I would certainly want to have everyone out before the sun goes down, just to do it during business hours, and then whatever goes on in the nighttime, of course, you can say, well, we had no part of that. That was a whole other different group of people. However, these people are camping out. They plan to be there for quite some time, so it's a little bit different, and I hope it goes well. And I think it's been made very clear to the public, to everyone who has seen this, reported on the news today, that clearly these people are peaceful, and they're just regular people. There are even politicians there among them who are part of this thing, just trying to spread awareness. And it's fantastic what people can do just by coming together peacefully and not even making a huge ruckus, just coming together as a peaceful act of civil resistance. And it's made it to the mainstream media. The mainstream media today have been talking about many people, or at least some people in this country, being upset about corporate greed. That theme, corporate greed, has been a big theme this afternoon on the news, thanks to this movement. And for Canada, I would say that that's definitely a kind of hitting Harper back with a taste of his own medicine, because he does that kind of thing. He sticks with something very simple, like we're going to improve the economy, we're going to work in the economy, we're going to work in the economy. You know, it doesn't even have to make sense to the conversation he's in or the debate that's taking place or the questions that are being asked. He sticks with the theme, and he keeps using that theme as a manipulator would do. So I kind of like that there's a theme now about corporate greed, corporate greed, corporate greed. I like that. That theme is running through the media. And for people that don't pay much attention and they only get basic themes, and Harper knows that, that's what he's been doing as a politician. It's become very clear that he sticks with a very simple theme. He just keeps using that theme over and over again. And that seems to have more of an impact for some people anyway, than to go into a big, lengthy political explanation. He sticks to very simple little themes and just keeps repeating them over and over and over again. And unfortunately, it does seem to work for some of the population anyway. For all the Homer Simpsons out there that just don't pay attention to anything that's really going on, all they get are little bits and pieces. So I like that there's a theme right now going on about corporate greed, corporate greed, corporate greed. Let that get into the minds of the Canadian public, the viewing public who sit on the TV and just take in bits and pieces of what's happening. Let them get that in their heads for a change. So this is great. This movement has been able to use the media to fight back against the mindset, that the Harper government have been trying to place on the Canadian people of not being interested in the issues or the facts, just trusting Daddy Harper to look after us because he's looking after the economy, he's looking after the economy, he's looking after the economy. Anyway, simple messages are sometimes the best, unfortunately, because a lot of people, like I say, have short attention spans and they just pick up on a very simple theme. But at least that is a theme that's been on the mainstream media today. And this movement is definitely just the beginning of something really big. And I could see Stephen Harper visibly nervous about this, and he should be. And a lot of leaders who are betraying their own people to look after the interests of the few should be nervous, because a lot of people are upset, and finally they're beginning to stand up. And I'm so glad that they're doing this peacefully, but they are doing this, and this is great. So I don't know what to say for right now. I appreciate everyone who's taken part in this, and I hope that more people join in and help out with it. Peace.